Moving on to Discover Fundamentals. We saw this on the homepage when we first logged into Kibana, and this provides access to the different solutions that Elastic has to offer. The focus for this section is going to be analytics. This is where any type of data can be explored and visualized. We'll examine the Security app in another module. You can navigate to any of these through the homepage or through the hamburger menu on the top left of the screen. Discover allows you to search data for hidden insights and relationships. This is where you can ask questions about your data, and the knowledge that you have as an analyst can be applied here. You can ingest logs from many security tools, but it's not going to do you any good if you don't know what questions to ask or what to look for. Let's dive right into the Discover Components demo. I'm going to go to the homepage in Kibana. If you're not there, what you can do is click on the Elastic logo on the top left of the screen, and that'll bring you back home. To navigate to Discover, there are a couple of ways. You can click on the Analytics tile, or you can go to the hamburger menu. Under Analytics, you're going to click Discover. I'm going to go back to what you would see in the default view. No results match our search criteria. That's okay for now. We're going to continue to go over the navigation components within Discover. Starting with an index pattern or data view is where you can narrow your focus to the data sets you care about in that instance. Our focus is going to be on Zeek, Suricata, or both of them. This is where you can select the index pattern you want, as well as you can select ESQL as a language, and more about that later, but I'm going to leave my index pattern for ECS Zeek to view my Zeek logs. The time filter is where you can select the time frame. It does default to the last 15 minutes. You can click on the calendar, and that's going to give you a quick select and a commonly used section. In our environment, we have pre-built dates for our labs and CTF questions since we are working with Zeek and Suricata logs from a few years ago. We have day 0 through day 5, as well as a blister dataset. This makes it easier clicking once than manually inputting the date and time every time. You can just think of this as a bookmark. We have recently used date ranges, and then you can also set a refresh interval, and then this is useful if you're actually ingesting live data. I'm going to click on day 0, and then you can see here within the histogram that this represents August 1, 2018, from midnight to 23:59. It's about a 24-hour window. If you click on the box next to the calendar, this is going to give you the option for absolute. You can specify a specific date and time. We have relative and then now. But for this demo, I'm going to stick with day 0. The histogram is a visual representation of documents over time. Again, day 0 is a 24-hour period of August 1, 2018, but if you look at the histogram, it looks like we have about an hour's worth of logs starting at 11 and then ending at 12. It is interactive and dynamically changes when you drag in and out. If I hover over the histogram, you can see that my cursor changed to crosshairs. I'm going to click and then drag over these bars. Then notice that it updated my time range filter. Now I'm looking at 10:42 to 12:21. Now pay attention to the interval. Right now, we're doing an interval of every minute. Each bar represents a minute. If I go back, this interval was showing me 30 minutes of time. You can also, instead of clicking and dragging, just click on a single bar. For example, the 11 o'clock. That's going to give me that 30-minute time range. Now you can see how this interval changed to 30 seconds. Don't forget to reset back to day 0 as you're exploring your data so you're not missing data when you start applying queries and filters. We have a query menu next to the index patterns. This is going to allow you to add a filter and switch between KQL and Lucene. We have another way to add a filter with this plus sign. Here you can select a field, an operator, and a value. Let me show you an example of this. Let's say I want to see the destination dot port. The operator is, so it's like an equal, and then the value of 80. This is going to give me a preview of what that filter is going to look like. And then I can also create a custom label. As I add a filter, you can see the documents changed, and this is all representing the documents that have a destination port of 80. You can click on the filter for additional options. We can pin this filter across all apps. This is going to follow you to the dashboard page or visualizations, anything you navigate to until it's unpinned. You can edit the filter. Maybe I wanted to say is not, and then I could update. You'll see that the filter changed to not destination port. You can include the results. You can temporarily disable it or just delete it. The query bar is prevalent in most of your Kibana applications. Search is foundational to Elastic and is utilized everywhere within Kibana. This is where you can narrow down the information that you're interested in. Maybe I want to see how many Zeek documents are HTTP connections. What I would do is type my query, event.dataset, let's say HTTP. We'll be doing more syntax in the next section, so don't worry if you don't know exactly what this is doing. But when I click Update, my document table refreshed and you can see event.dataset is HTTP within my documents. Again, this is your document table, and the number of documents returned is going to be based on user inputs of your index pattern, any queries or filters that you have, as well as your date and time. Now your search results are limited to 500 documents. You can see at the bottom here, I have 100 rows per page and then 5 pages total, but it will show you the total amount of documents returned, which is 18,351. Now the document fields are represented by columns. We have the default timestamp and then a little snippet of the document. You can expand a document in the flyout pane by clicking on this double arrow. I'm going to do that now, and this is going to give you a table view. This is a user-friendly way of viewing the fields and values within your selected document. You can also take a look at the JSON view, and this is going to give you the raw data for a particular document in detail. This is going to be useful if you need to understand the structure of your data, especially when you're dealing with complex or nested fields, but I'm going to go back to the table view. You can see how data is parsed into field value pairs. I have client.ip, that is the field name, and then the value to the right of it. This 172.16.100.54. You can search for a specific field. Maybe I want to see the source.ip. I can start typing, and as I type, it's going to pull out the field names. Source.address, source.ip, source.port if I'm looking for something specific. We can also perform actions on these field names. We can filter for a value, filter out a value, filter for a field present, toggle a column in table, as well as pin a field. I'm going to close this for now and continue with the navigation. We do have a field list. These are available fields for the index pattern that you're exploring, and then notice that there's an icon next to the field name. This is the type of data that dictates what kind of searches and operations can be used on that field. K is going to represent a keyword type. IP is going to allow you to perform CIDR ranges, so these are IP types. Then another example is a number, so that's a numerical value. You do have the ability to filter by field type. If you click on this upside-down triangle by the search field names, you can see the different field types you have in your data. We can search field names and then view the top 10 values. Let's say I want to look for source.ip. I can see it under popular fields as well as available fields. If I click that field name, I can see the top values. Right now, I'm limited to the HDP dataset, but it would give me the top 10 if there are more than just 3. I can filter for these values or filter out these values, and then I can also visualize these values in Lens. Then within the fields list, if I click on this plus sign, I can add this field as a column. You can see how it was added in the doc table source IP. We can customize our view to whatever makes sense to us. Let's go start adding fields to our document table. I have source IP right now. Let's say that I want to add source.port. Again, I'm going to click on this plus sign. I'm going to add destination.ip. I'm going to add destination.port, and then lastly, I'm going to add network.protocol, and then I'm going to get rid of this query for now. Now in my document table, I have the values that I want to see. This is starting to look like the beginning of a Zeek connection log. Now let's say I want to adjust the column sizes. I can look for that blue bar when I hover over it and then adjust it accordingly. If I want to rearrange the order, I can click the field name and move it left or right. Or let's say you have a bunch of columns. What you can do is go to this toolbar up at the top, click on columns, and this way I can drag and drop my columns. Let's say I want to have network protocol right after the timestamp. We can sort the fields, and the default is timestamp. We can also click a field name to sort it. This would be sorting the network protocol alphabetically, or I can sort fields up at the top. Right now, I have it timestamp, new to old. Let's say I want to get rid of that. Then I want to sort the fields by source port, high to low. A couple of ways to do that. You can remove a field from a table through the available fields. Instead of the plus sign, now I can remove it with that X, or in my document table, I can click on the field name and remove the column. I'm going to add this back though, the network.protocol. You can always use a query bar or use filters to further narrow down your results. Let's say that I want to look specifically for DNS documents. I can start typing network.protocol is DNS. I'm going to hit update and then notice in the document table in the network.protocol, this is all DNS documents. Finally, I'll go over the toolbar. So we have new. When you click this, Kibana is going to reset the search interface. If I want to start over, I'll just click the new button and we're back to the default view. Open is going to allow you to load a saved search. You can share and you can generate a link as a snapshot, and then you can also shorten the URL. For alerts, this is where you can create a search threshold rule. This is more applicable to the observability app. Inspect is going to give you information about the search and performance, and then save. This is where you can save your current search. This can be opened in dashboards or visualizations so that you can quickly reuse a search in other parts of Kibana. Let's review key components. Index pattern or data view is a Kibana-specific item enabling specific dataset searches. Time filter controls time-based filtering. Histogram can visualize document count over time, and document table displays results based on index pattern or data view selection, queries, filters, and time settings. The query bar enables data searches. The fields list shows available fields based on your selected index pattern. The toolbar provides functions like new, open, share, alerts, inspect, and save. You can search available fields and view their top 10 values sampled from records. The sampling size appears at the bottom, providing a quick overview though not completely accurate. You can filter values in or out and visualize data in Lens. The plus sign beside fields adds them as document table columns. Customize the Discover interface by displaying fields of interest, adding fields as columns, rearranging columns left to right, and sorting data ascending or descending. Query data using Lucene, KQL, or ESQL. We'll learn query writing next, though filters often achieve the same results. Additional filter operations include Pin Across Apps, which maintains filters across Kibana applications, Edit Filter, which modifies operators, values, or adds filters, Include or exclude results, temporarily disable or enable, and delete or remove filters.